I'm reading constantly, I'm researching constantly, and all of these interesting studies and explanations of how people are behaving, I bring here so that our viewers can get a taste of different things, scientific studies or just pop culture. They get a view of lots of different things. This one fascinated me. A new study calls into question the claim that AI is actually hurting hiring. How's that? Everybody assumes, oh, AI comes in, nobody's getting jobs. This new study says no. This man is a lead economist. His name is Ara Karazian. I probably pronounced it wrong. And you can look him up on LinkedIn. This is so interesting, but he's a lead economist. Um, we can finally say AI isn't killing jobs. A new paper from me, Lisa Simon, and Ryan Stevens, look any of those names up, uses firm level spend and workforce data that says, wait, that's from RAMP and Revelio Labs across 21,000 US businesses to measure AI's impact on jobs. And here are their findings. One, firms that adopt AI heavily grow headcount, get this, 10% over 2 years following adoption. Low adopters see no statistically significant change. Two, entry-level hiring grows faster, 12% over 2 years. Three, these gains are concentrated in high adoption sectors like tech. And he has a paper that goes on and on explaining this with diagrams, and it is fascinating. Um, One guy, a LinkedIn person, is head of economics himself. And he said, I'm not a fan of the brash headline, but I love the use of RAMP's data that you list, he tells the guy who posted this. This would be more convincing if you had a way to control for companies' P&L sheet, et cetera, et cetera. But it's gaining attention. And so far, there are 125 comments. And I want to bring to the fore something very significant. We tend to believe the most horrible headlines. We tend to think, well, this is a headline after all. It's been checked, which it probably hasn't been. It's been scrutinized, which it probably hasn't been. And all along, everybody and every article and research piece that I have been reading says the same exact thing. AI means jobs are going to plummet. And here we have other people saying, not so fast. Now, this brings to light some of the things that I have been saying for a very long time. You have plan A, you always must have a plan B for your future, everybody. This is not being taught in schools. Somebody majors in one thing and they assume that this is going to be my life's work. Well, how is it? What do you do if your life's work takes a detour and doesn't exactly perform the way you anticipate it's going to perform? What do you do? I am educating all my students, everybody I speak to, every time I make a speech, I ask them, what is your plan A? And they can easily say that. Oh, I'm majoring in X and I'm going to be, if they're students, and I'm going to be doing X in the workforce. And then I say, if they're not students, I say, And how are you doing in your chosen profession? Some of them say yay, some of them say nah. You must have a plan B. And part of my whole spiel, particularly in the last few months, when we have seen all these data points coming out, is that if you don't prepare for something other than what you think is going to be your perfect profession, then you are going to be holding the bag and you're not going to get ahead and you're going to be miserable and you may be heading down a very bad foxhole. It happened to me when I was very young. I wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to be a school administrator. And so I went on, got a PhD in educational leadership from New York University, fine school. And as it turned out, I had graduated so early. I was all of 30 years old. And that was my goal. Here, plan A. My goal was to get my PhD by the time I was 30. I met that goal. Then what happened? I couldn't get a job. Nobody would hire me. They said I was too young. I didn't have any experience. But I had my credentials. I went ahead. I was in New York. I got New York State certified. I got as a teacher, as a principal, and as a school superintendent. I started interviewing for jobs. I heard, you're too young. You're too white, because I was interviewing in the South Bronx where I was teaching. You're too white and we only want Hispanics or blacks, or we don't want you. And then I was left. That was my plan A. I was left saying, now what do I do? What is the next step for me? The interesting thing is that life took over, and I was probably stupid enough not to give life a hard time. Because usually, if I am dedicated to something, I am pushing and pushing and pushing. Neil, you know that. That's how I work. I work very hard and I work very intensely. And you tell me no, and I say, just watch me. But I couldn't find a job and I didn't know what to do. And how educated I was had no bearing on anything. They only wanted minorities to take over these jobs. So was hit with discrimination before discrimination was anti-discrimination was popular. So I didn't know what to do. Had the PhD. So I started getting applications out to teach at higher education level. I found a job not too far from my home in a small college. I was really happy there. It was a small community. I was really happy. But you teach I was teaching all evening classes, which meant I had days totally free. Somebody, and thank you, universe, somebody came to me and said, there's a new network opening up. You want to talk about whatever they asked me to talk about? I said, sure, I could do that. Television network. Had no idea what the hell I was talking about, but I knew my stuff. I had studied hard. I mean, I knew my field, but I didn't know television at all. That was the start of an entire different career. Did I prepare for plan B? Not on your life. But what I did, what I was open to experimentation with who knows what. I wasn't fearful, and there's a lot of fear. I feel it. I feel it in graduate students. I feel it in undergraduate students. I feel it in people who are working. There's tremendous fear out there, and fear will cut you down immediately. But I was adventuresome, and I thought, oh, television, okay, fine, all right. And I just gave it a shot. Well, one thing led to another thing. And at the same time, I started teaching evening courses for students who had not finished their baccalaureate degree. And one by one, people said, you ought to come into my company. You ought to come and do training in my company, because they liked my presentation. And one by one, I would call the company, they would invite me in. I had management consulting as one career. And at the same time, I was doing TV. I mean, I was running around like a chicken without a head. But this is what happens when I was not smart enough to prepare for Plan B. But the universe did it for me, and I thank the universe tremendously. And now that I look back, if I had gotten a job in a school system. You know, those school systems keep you probably for life. And I would have been in a school probably for 20, 30 years. I don't know. And that would have been the end of anything creative. Writing books, being out there as a spokesperson for various products, product spokesperson, being out there on television. I didn't know that Plan B was not happening in my life when I was dedicated to getting credentialed in Plan A. So, guys out there, take it from me. You don't know what the future holds, but be as conversant as you possibly can be. Be as educated and credentialed as you possibly can be in many different fields because you don't know when somebody will say, "Can you do this?" And I was stupid enough to say, "Sure." And then the reaction afterwards was, "Oh my God, well, now what am I going to do?" But somehow I pulled rabbits out of hats. And anybody, if I could do it, and what did I know? If I could do this, anybody can do this. And I tell this story to everybody out there. People are all saying AI is going to kill jobs. Thumb your nose at that and find a sector in AI. If that's your field, find a sector in AI that hasn't been well traveled. Find something to do in AI or something ancillary to AI, or choose something in addition to your AI capabilities. It's America. It's wide open. You have every opportunity available. And because this is July 4th, let's thank the Lord we are in the United States of America. And that's my Gildagram for today.